Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Disenchant Shuffling. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on Gleaming Shards. Currently, at the time of recording, this shuffle will net you anywhere between 40 to 80,000 gold profit per hour, depending on how you set this up, and we're going to go through all of that today. I personally think this is a great shuffle for a lot of beginner gold makers to get into, especially people who can kind of semi-AFK their time and looking for a little bit of extra passive gold along the side. And so this video will be broken down into 4 different parts. Up first, I'm going to talk about exactly what Disenchant Shuffling is, kind of showing you the main flow of things. Secondly, I'm going to show you the basic requirements to start doing this shuffle. Thirdly, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet and different outcomes to kind of figure out exactly how much gold you can expect. Then lastly, we're going to talk about a few more ways that you can truly optimize this to make as much gold as possible. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. As always, there will be timestamps in the description if you want to skip around, but if you want the most knowledge possible, I highly recommend watching this all the way through. But without further ado, here we go. And so to get started, let's first talk about exactly what Disenchanting Shuffling is, and it's actually really simple. All we're going to be doing is buying items off the auction house, crafting them into a specific crafted item, disenchanting that crafted item, and then reselling those materials back on the auction house. In terms of the exact flip I'm showcasing in this video, we're going to be dealing with cuffs as well as Gleaming Shards. So for example, if I wanted to start this shuffle, I could open up my tailor, we're going to be crafting these basic cuffs, and then I can craft all. You know, my inventory will slowly fill up, etc. We can just craft a few here. And then once I'm done, I can strictly just disenchant all of these, and I'm going to get Gleaming Shards. It's weekly reset, so I'll get some weekly knowledge points, but this is really all you're going to be doing. Of course, this will happen in a larger sense, but that's really the basics of Disenchant Shuffling. And so let's talk about the actual requirements of this. Up first, you're going to need a tailor, and the best thing about this, the reason why I really picked this specific shuffle, is that your tailor really does not need to be skilled. All you need to do is be able to craft these cloth bracers, which you'll just get from the trainer. So, you know, I'm pretty much outskilled this, I don't have to be 58, but all you have to do is get this recipe. We'll talk about a few ways to optimize this in a bit, but this is the main item you're going to be crafting. Besides that, you're basically going to be buying these weaver cloth bolts off the auction house, as well as your moss wool thread, which you can buy from the vendor, and all you're going to have to do is mass produce these cuffs. Secondly, the more important yet slightly more work thing you need to do is you need to get yourself an enchanter. This can either be on the same character, so in this case I have my tailor and enchanting on the same tune, or these can be separate. But what you'll have to do is level up your enchanting enough to unlock specializations, and then you're going to need 60 knowledge points. Excuse the fact that I have, 91 right here. All you're going to need to do is max out this main node as well as this bottom one because we're going for Gleaming Shards, which is your rare resource. Now, 60 knowledge points sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's pretty easy to get. Remember, you'll get 24 from just going and collecting your one-time treasures. If you just disenchant a few items, you're going to get 9 knowledge points through that weekly set right there. You have your weekly profession quest, which will give you another 3. You can buy the Kej book for another 10, and then as you level up enchanting, you'll get a ton of one-time crafts, which ultimately can lead you to 60. If you have some extra artisan acuity, you can spend that on knowledge points as well, but really your goal is just to get 60 points, and then you're good to go in terms of specializations. Secondly, and we'll talk about this more when I look at the spreadsheet, but you're going to want to level up your enchanting as high as possible. As you can see right now, I'm only level 80, and I actually only have 1 profession tool, so I'm at 88 skill technically. I should go out and get my other 2 tools, and if possible, reach 100 enchanting. Like I said, we'll talk about that more, but it's really just going to be up to you in terms of how high you can get your skill, but the higher the skill, the better your outcomes will be. But like I said, once you have those requirements, you are good to go. And basically all you're going to be doing is crafting a bunch of these cuffs. So, you can hit craft all, walk away from your computer, let your inventory fill with all of these items, and then you're going to be doing disenchanting. In terms of disenchanting, there are kind of two different ways to go about this. If you're a TSM user, you can use /TSM space destroy. This will open this destroying menu and you can just hit destroy next to destroy each bracer. This kind of speeds things up. And if you're not a TSM user, you can also create a macro. I will show you this on screen. It looks just like this. You just do /use disenchant and then /use the name of the item. Then you can put this on your hotbar. Let's say I put it on R, and so now every time I hit R, I'll disenchant. And so the reason why I say that this is, semi-AFK shuffle is that you can AFK craft, but you can't really AFK disenchant. You have to be here passively clicking a button every time you want to get rid of a bracer. But alright, with all of that basic information out of the way, we can talk about profits. And so I've created a spreadsheet for everybody. It's actually a part of my whole War Within spreadsheet, which you can find in the description down below. If you guys have gotten it from my previous videos, it's the same exact one, but there is a new tab called Enchanting. And this right here talks exactly about how much profit you can expect and how long it's going to take. And so if you do want to play around with the spreadsheet yourself, if you go to File, you can hit Make a Copy. From here, you can either name it however you want, and then you'll be able to actually edit this and, play around with it however you'd like. But what you're going to need to do is basically just fill out the cost of all of these different items. The bolt is just the current bolt on the auction house. You can just pick the cheapest one. It doesn't matter what quality. Then you just need to put in your vendor price for thread. This is a vendor item, so don't accidentally buy it off the auction house. And then just fill in the cost for all of these. So all of your Gleaming Shards, rank 1 to 3, as well as these extra items. You're probably thinking, Penguin, why do you have leather? Why do you have bismuth? Why do you have chitin here, etc.? And that's because of our specialization with those 60 points, we're actually going to get back some of these extra materials on top of Gleaming Shards. That's why the specializations is super important. After that, you get to play around with everything. So for example, right here, and this is kind of how I got that profit breakdown at the beginning, you can say how many bolts you're going to purchase. So in this case, let's say we decide to purchase 2,000 bolts. Bolts right now on the NA auction house is about 8.46 gold. So my cost of this will be about 17,000 gold. If I take a look over here, we have 3 different profit margins. And like I said, this depends on your skill. So unlike basically every other expansion in the War Within, the actual skill of your enchanting determines the stats and items you're going to get out of disenchanting. And so if you guys look up here, we basically have 3 different margins, and this is just created by my own data as well as some data from my Discord. So these aren't, special in any ways in terms of why I picked these numbers, but this can show you a good range depending on your ultimate skill level. Up first, we have 88 skill, which is what you see on my current character, because I have a flat rate of 80 skill plus that 8 skill coming from that tool, and at the current margins, I can expect about 33,000 gold profit. Because my total value is about 52,000, but after auction house cuts and subtracting my total cost, I'm left with 33,000. However, you can see that if you actually increase your skill, so this data is from somebody who has a skill of 97 with all grain tools, so plus 18, so somebody with a total of 115 skill, with this exact same data, exact same number of crafts, they can actually expect 42,000 gold. And the reason for this is because they are going to get more quality 3s. Now, in terms of data collection, I will say these rows right here all use the same percentages because I was not able to get the different stats for every single tier level. So these right here might differ slightly, but take a look at these different ranks right here. If you are somebody who has currently 88 skill, you can expect rank 1s 56% of the time. If we look at, 115 skill, this goes down to 47%, and rank 2s and rank 3s both go up. And then of course, down here, we have somebody who only has 76 skill, because they have 58 base skill plus their grain tools, and you can see that their rank 1s is actually 61%, while their rank 3s is only 18, compared to the 28% you see up here with the more skilled player. So there is profit basically in the lower tiers as well, but in order to maximize your gold per hour, you're going to want to get your skill as high as possible. But all this is just saying is that, if we want to use this middle tier with 1,000 crafts and all of these percentages, we can expect about 470 rank 1 Gleaming Shards, about 588 rank 2 Gleaming Shards, and then 283 rank 3 Gleaming Shards, and then about 60 or so of each of these extra recipes. Like I said, these right here are all the same because I didn't have enough data, but really we're just showing the differences in these Gleaming Shards, and that changes our profit quite a bit. But yeah, in terms of shuffling, all you need to do is type in how many bolts you want to purchase. Maybe you plan on purchasing 5,000 bolts. That's going to be 2,500 crafts, which is going to cost you about 42,000 gold. But you can expect anywhere between 67,000 gold profit all the way to 105, depending on your skill level. But there's more to this as well. Many people are probably thinking, alright Penguin, these numbers sound amazing, but how long is this truly going to take? Which I've added a little calculator here as well. All you'll need to do is put in your crafting speed. In this case, we have 0%, and that means that it costs 2 seconds to craft every single cuff. If we're crafting 2,500 cuffs at 2 seconds a piece, it's going to basically cost us an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 23 minutes to be exact, to craft all of those bracers. Then we have to disenchant those bracers, which we can't really speed up, and that's going to cost us another hour. So in this case, you're looking about 2 hours and 20 minutes of work to make, this profit. But don't worry, we can shorten this. If you go in game, first of all, if you are a tailor, like I said, technically you don't need that many perks, but I highly recommend getting yourself these tools. Because for example, right here, this needle set is going to give you 95 crafting speed, which equals basically 11%. So we've already increased our speed just by a little bit. Then you have 2 options currently. Now keep in mind, this might be patched at some point, so by the time you're watching this video, do be careful, but currently, even though this file right here says that it only works for Dragon Isles recipes, this currently is still working for the current expansion. This of course might be fixed later on as it's not intended, but if we use this potion, as you can see, our speed has gone up to 41%, and if we start crafting, this is way faster than it was before. Lastly, we have the true crafting speed potion of this expansion. It is this file right here, and depending on the quality, you'll get anywhere between 5 to 15%. Quality 3s right now are pretty pricey, so right here I just bought a quality 2, and if we use this, it's going to give us another 10%. So with all of these bonuses, we're at 51% crafting speed, which like I said, increases our time a lot. If we wanted to put this in the spreadsheet, all we have to do is just type in 51 right here. And as you can see, our time goes from 2 seconds to basically 1 second. And so now our crafting time is down to 40 minutes. Our profit, of course, doesn't change because this is purely just time. But now you're looking at, an hour and 40 minutes to do crafting and disenchanting to make your expected profit. Additionally, to those who are slightly more advanced, you can set up 2 accounts. Let's say you have, one account that normally is just posting on the auction house while your main account is doing something else. You can have your crafter or your tailor on one account and have your disenchanter on the second. So now you can be crafting and disenchanting at the same time, and so you can basically just remove one of these totals. So if you are crafting as you're disenchanting, basically you'll just knock both of them out. So now it's really only going to be an hour worth of your time. Maybe you can add 10 minutes due to mailing or, whatever, but basically you can get this down to just an hour's worth. So now you're looking at 105,000 gold profit per hour if you have 2 accounts. But yeah, guys, that's basically it for this calculator. Like I said, you can play around with this. Let's say you only have 10% crafting speed, you can put it in there, it'll change everything you need. Let's say you only want to craft 1,000, or let's say you only buy 1,000 bolts, you can do that, it'll change your prices, it'll change the profit. It is here to just see exactly what works best for your current character. And the last few things I want to say is truly for optimizing this. Like I mentioned before, increasing your speed is great, having 2 accounts is great, and also making sure your enchanting level as high as possible really determines your outcomes. However, you can also take this another step forward with tailoring. The spreadsheet and all of the calculations you just saw does not take into account resourcefulness, which is something that you can easily get on a tailor, especially a new one, that's going to increase your profits even more. To those who don't know, resourcefulness will basically just give you back some of your mats as you craft, which means that your overall crafting cost is cheaper, which just means you're going to make more profit. What I highly recommend is getting yourself a resourcefulness tool. This can just be a simple, grain quality tool. This is a rank 5. Make sure you get resourcefulness, and this is going to give you quite a huge bonus. So now when you're going over here and you're crafting a bunch of cuffs, boom, there we go, we save some reagents, and so this is just going to make our price per bracer slightly cheaper. Additionally, especially if this is a brand new tailor dedicated to just this shuffle, I highly recommend going into specializations, into textile treasures, and maxing out extra threads. This is the dedicated resourcefulness node, and this is not only going to give you more reagents whenever you proc a resourcefulness, but this is also going to give you a higher chance of proccing. Personally, this tailor is not made just for shuffling. I do my daily cooldowns on here, which is why I'm not necessarily in this tree, but if you have an extra alt laying around where you can really designate a tailor to be the best tailor possible, definitely you can go into this route to really maximize your profits. Lastly, this can apply to any of your professions, but just in case you don't know, you can actually get enchants for your weapons. So if we go right here and filter by current expansion, all of these right here are profession tool enchantments, and it covers every single profession stat besides multicraft. So in this case, if you're willing to spend an extra 10,000 gold, or maybe you buy the slight lesser version for 3,000 gold, you can increase your resourcefulness even more by enchanting your tool. You can of course use this for all of your professions, not just for shuffling, but yet again, this will increase your shuffling even more. But yeah guys, that's about it. I did this live on stream the day before recording this video, and I was able to turn 10k into 40k very, very easily. People on my Discord have been posting screenshots, and I've been getting data from them, and people are easily turning 40k worth of materials into 100,000+ gold just by sitting here, clicking a few buttons, and making it some early gold. The best thing about this is that things sell fast. These are some materials I have left over from a previous shuffle, and if we throw them up on the auction house, these sell very, very fast. We'll post these all up. There we go. I just threw them on the auction house, and as you can see, people are buying. So don't be worried about, not being able to sell off these materials. People are still buying quality 1s, people will be buying quality 2s, quality 3s, and of course, if things don't sell instantly, you might have to cancel them once or twice, but within, a few minutes, all of these should be sold, and profit will be coming in. But yeah guys, that's about it for today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And if you have any specific data that you'd like to share, feel free to leave it in the comments down below, or join the Discord and send it to me there, and I'll definitely start optimizing the numbers even more, because the more data, the better. If you guys like these shuffling type videos, let me know. There's definitely a lot of valuable shuffles right now, so if you'd like to see more of this, please let me know as well. But thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day.